Welcome back to Live at the Legislature, your weekly look inside the Hawaii State Capitol. I'm the Hawaii State Senate Communications Director, Jesse Broder-Van Dyke, and my guest this week is Senator Russell Ruderman, Chair of the Human Services Committee. Senator Ruderman, thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
You represent parts of the Hawaii Island that were affected by the lava flow, Ka'u and Puna, and I understand you have a boat ramp that was affected that you're still working to get funding to get replaced.
Yes, I'm working on three major district priorities, and the one related to the lava flow is the boat ramp. We only have one boat ramp in our district. It's a district that's larger than Oahu, and right now there's no boat ramp for a 100-mile stretch of coastline. The boat ramp that we lost was called Pohoiki, and it was the third most economic activity of any fishery on our island. So we lost a lot of economic activity as well as some tourism opportunities and ocean access. We're trying to get money to either repair the existing boat ramp, which is possible, or build a new one, whichever the engineers decide to do. I just want the one that can happen quickest.
Mm-hmm. And how is the disaster recovery going other than the boat ramp?
Slowly. It's going very slowly. The county repaired one major road recently, which was a big milestone for a lot of the residents that couldn't get home. I'd say it's going very slowly, and we haven't done a great job of responding to this disaster, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But life goes on. Yeah.
And an issue that affects both your district and the entire world, you've been very focused on climate change. Can you tell me about some of your initiatives to combat that?
Thank you for asking. It's obvious to me that that's the biggest issue we face. It's hard to focus on it as a state or community level, but I believe since there's no national leadership, we must focus on it at a local level. I have a few bills relating to that. Many of them have to do with electric transportation, electric vehicles, and the reason I focus on that is because I think we're making good progress with our electricity grid. And the dirty secret in Hawaii that we're not going to talk about is air travel, which is an incredibly heavy carbon footprint, and there's no easy answers. Mm-hmm. So I think it's incumbent on us to do what we can, and the main thing we can do in Hawaii quickly is get electric vehicles going, because with our short driving distances, we can prove to the world how well they work, and we can show all of our visitors how well they work. And it's an easy thing to do by comparison. So we have bills regarding electric vehicles, some rebates for them, requiring a fast charging network around the islands. And also, this is a little bit aspirational, we have a bill that says only electric vehicles after 2030. So we're trying to push for that. Have some other climate change related initiatives, such as not printing documents unnecessarily and reducing a lot of single-use disposable plastics as well.
Yeah, plastics are a big issue, especially in coastal communities, and I think we all need to do our part to combat climate change and make a difference, and working together, hopefully we can make a little bit of a difference.
A funny thing just happened on the Big Island, which is a county issue, but we stopped recycling all plastics. So suddenly we have nowhere to put plastics, and they go in the trash. So the problem is more evident to us than it was previously.
I know on Oahu we convert a lot of it to energy, but Big Island doesn't have a facility like that at this point.
And I'm so impressed that Oahu went forward with the plastic ban before the other counties, especially considering that impact.
Mm-hmm. Right now, the Senate and House are working together on a joint package of bills, and one of the proposals is to raise the minimum wage. What are your thoughts about that?
I'm all for raising the minimum wage. I think the proposal to raise it gradually to $13 an hour is a non-starter. It doesn't even begin to address the situation. Mm-hmm. I support going to $15 an hour at $1 an hour increment, $1 per year increments. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of reasons I focus on that. First of all, as the Chair of Human Services, we're very involved with homeless issues. And I've recently learned that our homeless problem is something that gets renewed every year. Mm-hmm. Every year, about 70% of our homeless people are newly homeless because they lost their homes. We find homes for about 70%, another 70% come in. So it's like if you're trying to fill a bathtub, but there's a leak in it. It's best to patch the leak instead of just pouring more and more water in there. Mm-hmm. So raising the minimum wage significantly is the one tool that we have that would raise hundreds of thousands of people in Hawaii out of poverty and would dramatically address our homeless situation. I think it's something we can do and we ought to do. I think it's a little bit shameful that we haven't done it because we are the most democratically controlled legislature in the country, and we have the highest cost of living in the country. Many other states and many other communities have already moved to 15, and it's just inexcusable that we have not. I also like to address this issue because I'm an employer. I have over 250 employees. And if anyone should not want to raise the minimum wage, it would be me. But I see the benefits of raising the minimum wage, both to the business and to society. From a business point of view, you don't have a stable, dedicated workforce if they're always looking for another job because they can't make ends meet. And when you say you can't afford it, well, it's hard to afford constant turnover. It's hard to afford new employees all the time. And another thing that occurs to me is when some people say it's bad for business. It's like, how is it for business when someone's sleeping in your doorway at night? Is that good for business? And this is a problem we can solve just like that, in my opinion. And we ought to do it. It's the right thing to do. It's good for business, but it's also the ethical, correct thing to do.
Well, what do you say to small business owners like yourself, but those who say they can't afford it?
I don't understand that arithmetic because if you're paying people a wage that they can't make ends meet, they're always looking for another job. How well do they represent your company? How dedicated are they? How motivated are they? Compared to someone who says, my employer pays me well, treats me well, this is where I work and I'll fight for this company. So I have seen the benefits of paying well in terms of reduced turnover and increased motivation and increased loyalty. Those are, some people call them intangibles, but they're very tangible to the bottom line of a business, in my opinion. I think we can't afford not to pay people a living wage.
Thank you for that. And as we work to raise wages, you're also working as chair of the Human Services Committee to help those who are already homeless. We just have about a minute left, but can you tell us about some of those initiatives?
Okay, good. Well, we're trying to support most of the initiatives at the Human Services Department. That's a wonderful department of people trying to help other people. Particularly, we're looking at 3 homeless programs that we want to expand and continue. One is the Ohana Zones program that got started last year, which you've had a very successful example in the Big Island. The other is the HONU program, which is mobile pop-up clinics to help homeless people get services wherever they may be. And a new initiative that I think comes from the Lieutenant Governor's office called the Kauhale idea, which is tiny homes for permanent housing for homeless individuals. And we'd like to get that program going this year and hopefully get 4 or 5 of those established around the state.
Well, thank you so much, Senator Ruderman. I'm sorry we're out of time, but appreciate you getting up early to come on with us this week.
Thank you for having me.
And if you missed any part of the show, it'll be rebroadcasting Wednesday at 7 p.m. and we'll be back here next week with our guest, Senator Brian Taniguchi. Thanks so much for tuning in. Aloha.
What are you doing? We have to go. I'm gonna be late for work.
It's Tuesday morning. I gotta record live at the legislature on Alelo. Senate and House leadership discussing what's happening at the state capitol.
So just watch it on the news tonight. Come on, let's go.
Hey, this is like getting the news before it's news. If only I could get this remote to work.
There. Can we go now?
No DVR? No problem. Watch Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. on Channel 49.